Greetings, Earth travelers. Welcome to Astrology Roadshow second episode, preparing for the Aquarian age during the final months of 2020. Chiron holds the keys to your destiny. I'm Sue Ramirez, and my co-host is Laura Kane. We hope you enjoy and are inspired. Your likes, shares, and contact to astrologyroadshow.com and Facebook page are much appreciated. Astrology Roadshow's future episodes will continue to further detail how to navigate this important and historical time in our world. Please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you won't miss out. As we explored in episode 1, there are 3 heavyweight planets dominating headlines these days, making rare conjunctions with each other and sending clear messages, especially for the purposes of the USA as we get closer to entering the age of Aquarius. And since nothing exists in a vacuum, the other planets in our solar system, located closer to the Sun and Earth's orbit, are also aspecting these outer planetary players. These are the inner planets, and they affect us on a daily basis. They frequently aspect all transiting planets, as well as the planet placements on our individual natal blueprint. This inner circle is comprised of dynamic and changing influencers as we grow more adept at multitasking their messages. They are known as our personal planets, and their job is to help us bring to bear the overall framework as set up by outer planetary forces. Mars is a personal planet, and it has a very special job this year, as it will be making historic aspects with the triple threat planets previously mentioned. These squaring aspects hold important messages, and we will want to be fully aware of Mars's transiting journey during the remainder of this year and into early 2021, and the implications unfolding for us individually. Mars usually takes about 2 years to orbit the Sun, and it therefore typically spends 1.5 to 2 months or so in each of the 12 signs. It is noteworthy that during this astrologically historical year, it will spend more than 6 months transiting within its own constellation sign of Aries, from June 27, 2020 through January 6, 2021. That is almost 4 times the typical period and very extraordinary. This warrior planet is a maverick and super strong when journeying here, as it is ruler of Aries, which is the designated leading sign of the Western zodiac. The symbolic archetype they both represent reflects our personal identity, drive for action, and courage to act on behalf of our own preservation. Mars can take care of Mars wherever it is traveling, and this is a planet mostly concerned with just that. Even though it may be spending some of that duration in retrograde motion, which typically saps a bit of strength, the fact is, it is still the strongest personal planet in the zodiac and has home court advantage. But this visit will not be too comfortable.
Mars, and malefic in its own right, has no fewer than 9 squaring aspects to make with the great malefics, Saturn and Pluto, and also the more social Jupiter. Those 3 are located together and 90 degrees away, and Mars will square with each 3 times, causing a lot of tension in the cosmos. The effect will be witnessed on a global scale as well as individually. It will affect areas of leadership and motives, since 7 of the 9 squares take place between the cardinal signs of Capricorn and Aries. The cardinal signs propel us into new ventures by design. As mentioned in episode 1, those outer planets are working together and laying serious groundwork within Capricorn, gearing up for a full launch into the Aquarian age. There is no time for Mars to get on a self-serving kick, unless that selfishness will ultimately serve a purpose to be on board with the plan. They need Mars to help make overall messaging clear and motivate at an individual level. These squaring tensions will eventually work out to the best possible outcome after some give and take, but it is not an easy process since Mars much prefers to have things done its own way, and the others feel the same, being already heavily invested and united in their important mission. But first, a couple of weeks after arriving home in constellation Aries, Mars conjuncts and lines up with the planetoid Chiron on July 14th. This is usually important as the meeting is intended to help set a positive tone and provide Mars with cosmic wisdom and purpose. the messaging Chiron imparts is pivotal and key for humanity and for what is going to be a difficult time ahead for the very determined and single-minded red planet. In fact, Chiron deserves just as much credit as Mars for the heavy lifting that must be done, and 2020 is the beginning of an important time in Chiron's history-making. Chiron's story is an amazing addition to the symbolism of Western astrology, and it is depicted as a wise and kind teacher within Greek mythology that suffers great pain, eventually becoming a comet planetoid located in between Saturn and Uranus. Uranus is the first planet we cannot see with the naked eye, and important to keep in mind here, it is the ruler of Aquarius. Chiron's elliptical path around the Sun actually crosses the orbiting paths of both Saturn and Uranus, so it represents the passage from the reality we can readily see to that which we must understand exists in order to evolve. Chiron's legacy is entwined with the manifestation of Aquarian symbolism, so it plays an important role to help us with our journey forward. Astrologers have much respect for what Chiron represents, and its position is prominently noted along with the other planets within the setup of natal birth charts. Its symbol is a key, and the area in our charts where it is located is one that suffers from a wound within our psyche, which can only possibly be healed by being of service to others in that very same area. Transiting Chiron entered Aries earlier this year. It is now traveling retrograde. But this greeting with Mars is the first major step to awaken our personal understanding and eventual healing. While having to deal with social distancing rules and other harsh realities as a result of coronavirus, we are all suffering and certainly feeling more alone than ever. But thanks to Chiron, we will soon be able to really know how this time is important to our individual evolution. The unfolding will work to form personal knowledge within a specific area that we were blind to before. We will gain needed motivation, competence, and strength that will aid in an area of service we can apply ourselves to, which will further our own destiny and purpose.
After their conjunction, Mars then travels on while Chiron moves the other way in its retrograde travels. The next Mars meetup is the first square, and that is with benefic Jupiter on August 4th. They are both rulers of fire signs, Sagittarius and Aries, and get along very well. Jupiter is mostly social and definitely a seeker of justice. It is an asset in its engagements with all planets. Mars easily sets the agenda while Jupiter is happy to magnify and enhance the outcome, especially if a long ignored truth and injustice comes to light in the process. And what a day for the history books. The blow-up in Beirut, Lebanon on August 4th has Mars handiwork written all over it. The explosive and fiery planet definitely symbolizes that cataclysmic event, and Jupiter has managed to bring to light the lesson and result of a neglected arsenal of explosives, complements of leadership in a badly run regime. It is quite the bang to start off Mars's square dancing the rest of the year, and perhaps warning to the two serious partners who are lined up next that he is more inclined to rock and roll. What comes next is indeed serious. Pluto is on the dance card, and its first square is on August 13th. You can think of it as Mars, otherwise known as the warrior god, meeting up with Pluto, otherwise revered as Lord of the Underworld. Pluto is the higher octave of Mars and works on a more subtle, subconscious, and collective level. These two are the same in some fundamental ways. Both are malefic and likely to trigger each other. Pluto has much at stake, and the Mars squares take place where important work has already been done within 1 degree of Pluto's initial conjunction in January with Saturn. That launched everything in 2020 as explained in episode 1. So amazing but true. Pluto's upcoming squares are all at 22 to 23 degrees Capricorn. This is possible because Pluto moves slowly in retrograde and forward. Also, Mars will transit retrograde on September 9th and then forward again, so 3 passes occur. The second square with Pluto happens on October the 9th and the final on December 20th. Of course, it is all set up that way for a reason. Mars is being tasked with understanding the transformative purpose underway. Likely it will manifest collectively and individually as a power struggle, as well as secrets and fears coming out into the open from the subconscious. In the end, they will reflect off each other to better establish forces of individual and collective motivational dynamics. What does not serve the progressive purpose and is no longer useful will be eliminated. Again, the end game for Mars in all of this would be to engage and become motivated towards personal understanding so necessary inner healing may occur. 2 consecutive Saturn squares are next and will occur August 24th and September 29th. Saturn represents challenges necessary to evolution, restriction, society, and the framework of government. The application, especially this year, involves reforming police departments within the USA and is also evident as lockdowns are put in place for public safety. There will be more difficulty for self-expression as Saturn squares up with Mars, and the tension from the public rioting may finally come to a head. The tension from these squares will be ongoing the entire month of September. It will manifest on a personal level as great frustration and suffering in achieving our desired goals. Perseverance is required at this time to dig in and not become discouraged. Saturn is serving up lessons to help create resolve and strength. For Mars, that translates to tough work and healing a deep area within the psyche. Saturn is there to remind that nothing good comes easy. One must go through and not around to get to the goal.
The final 2 square dances involving Jupiter and Saturn happen in January 2021 when Mars and those planets respectively move on to Taurus and Aquarius. The sequence of all aspects is very telling as to how to handle the metamorphosis into the Aquarian age. The unique situations created by COVID-19 are enabling us to survive with ingenuity and reach out in different ways to help each other. We are each tapping into deep potential within that would not have been brought to light if it weren't for this situation. Our awareness of this will expedite and raise our consciousness to the mission. This has the hallmark of the saying, necessity is the mother of invention. We are reinventing ourselves as we approach the new era. This is the taste of things to come, of course, since Aquarius is all about inventive genius. On a personal level, the keys to our transition lie in 2 areas. Chiron is the keeper of our keys. So the first key and step is to locate the area in your chart at the 9-degree mark of Aries where Mars met with Chiron. That was a very important point and meeting that represents the impetus and tools to get the job done. The unlocking of that house at 9 degrees Aries is the type of motivation which will enable you to realize your success. The second step is symbolized by Mars' historic journey through its sign after the conjunction with Chiron. It would have made a minimum of 1 aspect to the Chiron on your natal chart during its travels through its sign. That will serve to activate your Chiron's house and sign and start the personal process. The house where the Chiron natal destiny key is located describes the type of work and service where you represent as a help and healer to others, and by doing that work, help yourself. The sign that rules this house is the area where your evolution will occur because of this work. Transiting Chiron's continued slow journey through Aries over the coming years after it finishes its retrograde and goes forward again will act to reinforce your message and purpose. It will serve to reward and encourage your aspirations along the way. Looking back, we will realize this is a time the cosmos has intended for reflection, delivered insight, and provided tools. By owning our process, we will achieve even greater awareness, a sense of relief, and validation. When embracing our inner genius, personal freedom will be ours, and we will truly be ready to become citizens of the Aquarian age. These are keywords for all the zodiac houses and signs. We wish everyone great success in getting your personal journey and evolutionary manifestation underway in 2020. Please let us know if you do not have a natal birth chart. Birth info including date, time, and place may be emailed to ars@astrologyroadshow.com, and you will receive a reply with your free chart and our brief analysis. If you do not know your exact birth time, you can still locate the destination natal key by looking up Chiron sign placement for your birthday from an ephemeris. We are also available to help out with that. Much thanks for tuning in. Our next episode will reveal the forces at work from a fairly recently discovered planet in our solar system, Eris. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss out on those revelations.